Hey folks, today I'm going to review the first Rolling Stones album. So finally now I'm going to go ahead and start reviewing each of the Rolling Stones albums in the 60s from the mono box set that I have. And of course this is what it looks like. This is the UK album cover. In the US we got England's newest hit makers. Um, and this back cover too is great. You get Charlie, Mick, Brian, and Mick, Brian, Bill, Charlie, and Keith, and they just look so. Don't they look happy, right? They definitely look like they're super. You know, they're hungry. They look like they're ready, and they're ready to just blister through so much of the amazing early tracks that they did back in the day, and most of their stuff was actually covers. I mean, kind of like with the Beatles, and they would throw in maybe a little, you know. But of course, on this debut album, we only got one Jagger and Richards composition that was, "Tell Me You're Coming Back to Me," and I'll get to that song when I get to it. Um, This was their debut album, released April the 16th of 1964. It went number one in the UK, and then went to number 11. And of course, over here, like I said, it was England's newest hit makers. It was released just a month after May the 30th of 1964, and it went gold, so that went really well. It was recorded in Regent Sound, London. I think the next album they kind of bounced around. They recorded some stuff in RCA, then they recorded some stuff like in Chicago, I guess. So there's definitely going to be a lot of bouncing around. And these earlier albums, too, they definitely, it's so confusing, with the track listing and which songs were recorded in. And it's very confusing. Definitely their earlier albums, definitely for sure. And the track listing and the album covers, like, it's all messed up, mixed up, yeah. Producer, of course, their producer that would produce majority of their early and I think all the way up until I think the late 60s. Andrew Loog Oldham and Eric Easton. I guess he was another second producer, I guess, for the album. It was recorded only in 5 days. I mean, that seems about right. They definitely sound very simple and, very quick. And, some of them fade. Some of them just end with great, simple endings, Here in the United States, it was on London Records, and then the United Kingdom was on Decca. Mostly, of course, all the United Kingdom albums were on the Decca label, And, of course, here we only got, the London label. So, and the album cover was done by a man named Nicholas Wright. And, they don't seem happy, but, they do look like they're prepared for sure. They're ready to knock everyone's teeth out with their songs and, and their charisma and their enthusiasm and their youth to people that want to buy this album, you know what I mean? It's just incredible. It's joyous, and majority of, right about until like maybe Out of Our Heads until maybe December's Children and Aftermath was kind of like the real change, even though we got most of that old classic Stones. Of course, Ian Stewart plays piano, but I feel bad for that guy. He's barely in the mix. Like, you don't hear him. He's playing piano, but they barely don't put him front and center, and it's kind of a shame. Of course, we got Keith Richards, Mick Jagger, Bill Wyman, Charlie Watts, and Brian Jones, of course, the main guys on here. And we got some special guests on here playing piano on Just Little by Little, and I think another song. They were actually called, I think they were credited by Uncle Phil and Uncle Gene. Uncle Phil being Phil Spector, who plays maracas on Little by Little. And piano was done by Gene Pitney, who was, pretty big, popular singer of that time, I think by 64 he was pretty well big, really, with Love Hurt, or what's that song? Oh, It Hurts to Be in Love or something like that. That was like one of his big hits in that year. And we got Graham Nash and Alan Clark from the Hollies. Can you believe that? I guess this was at the time when they kind of started out. Um, they're on backing vocals for Little by Little. So without further ado, let's go against. Let's go ahead and get started here. The U.S. album does open with "Not Fade Away," which of course was the first big hit single for them. Um, and I can see why, because all those North American Rolling Stones albums, they always open up, and they always have to they open up with their big hit, and of course they always have to include like their big hits on there. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And "I Need You Baby" was not even on the United States release, or Mona, if you will. And yeah, so we got "Not Fade Away." Yeah, and "Little by Little" was the B-side to that song. So anyways, without further ado, like I said once again, let's go and get started. Alrighty, to open up the album, we got Route 66, a classic, just amazing, just classic song done by Bobby Troup back in 1946. So get your kicks at Route 66. Chuck Berry, I think he'd covered this song before. Great hand claps. I really do enjoy like those, a lot of that, a lot of on this album for sure. Raunchy guitar riffs. I don't know if that was done by Keith, but definitely great. It's classic upbeat. It's kind of that early, rock, if you will, early rock and roll, and perhaps might sound a little bit like something the Beatles could possibly pull off. Maybe they could possibly cover this song. Second track is "I Just Want to Make Love to You." This is yet again a pretty upbeat track once again. I really love Mick's vocals here, very chugging. Those guitars, and very, very perfect example of a great early Stones track. I mean, just fantastic. The guys are really on the ball here, and this is where, Mick kind of plays the harmonica for the first time here. It was a track done by Willie Dixon, composed back in 1954, and it's a great song. I love it very much. Indeed. Third track is "Honest I Do," a very slow and very swampy, sound. Classic Jimmy Reed song. I think it was first recorded by Muddy Waters, I believe. I think I wrote that on here. Like I said, very slow, very, swampy. I love Charlie's just pop, like those really cool like popping snares that he does. Once again, the harmonica really shows that Mick is really good at playing it, and just so cool. Very slow, laid back song. Now I've Got a Witness, or no, excuse me, Mona. This is the Bo Diddley song from 1957. Tremolo all the way through, just that wah 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 wah, and definitely just so classic. That classic Bo Diddley. It's got that chanting and hypnotic caveman drums throughout, and just that beat, that classic Bo Diddley beat. I mean, they nail it perfectly. The Rolling Stones here. I mean, just fantastic. It was written by Elias McDaniel, but of course was famous for Bo Diddley. Okay, track 5. Now I've Got a Witness. This is the instrumental track done by Nanker Felge, and Nanker Felge is the Rolling Stones. Apparently, they were kind of credited as a group to do, some of the songs that were that were hence the name of Nanker Felge. So, and I think they got that name due to someone being roommates with one of the guys. I don't know if it was Brian Jones or something. Anyways, probably a long story there. Very upbeat organ. I love Mick's harmonicas is great. Just like flourishes really, really well. And just that kind of like, it's like right there, like in your like center of the attention of your ears, and you can hear it throughout. Great solo. I believe it was done by Keith or Brian. Great. Then the last track on side one is Little by Little, Nankerfelge. This is the song backing Phil Spector on, I believe, the maracas, and we got Gene Pitney on the piano. I love the great guitar intro, that kind of, the beginning chorus there. And, Mick says, "All right, come on, Keith." And Keith just rips that solo like it's nothing. And then Mick's like, "My turn," and he just lays it out, man, the harmonica. And he says, "Let's get out of here," just like right at the end of the song. Really great, just really just makes me happy. I'm pretty sure it made a lot of people happy to hear this song, but definitely great. Side two, now we get another great side here. I'm a King Bee. This was James Moore. It was a Slim Harpo hit, 1957. Really cool. Almost sounds like a bee, I guess, if you will, with that sliding fretboard. The bass, you can hear Bill's bass, definitely for sure, and Keith, they're definitely keeping that rhythm there of the definitely a great song. It was parodied, on Saturday Night Live by John Belushi, and a lot of people cover this song. I mean, Then we get Carol, classic Chuck Berry classic here. Oh my God, just sounds like majority of all of his songs. But I mean, how can you not like this? It's just fantastic, upbeat, that clapping, that. How can you not love like that? I mean, just Chuck Berry all the way through, and they nail it, man. They're perfect with the Chuck Berry. And then here we go. This is their first composition. Tell Me You're Coming Back. Really cool intro, like guitar intro. Sounds a little folkish, but it's not very good. I don't know. I don't really care for this track. I mean, it's like whatever. I think this was on the Billboard charts. I didn't really hesitate to find where it was placed. Yeah, I mean, for the first timer, Jagger and Richards, I mean, yeah, kind of boring. I mean, tell me you're coming back to me. You're gonna just. Mick doesn't sound very interesting, and Keith doesn't sound. He seems very bored, So whatever, it's a pass. Then we get the upbeat Motown hit, Holland Dozer Holland. Of course, it was a big hit for Marvin Gaye in September of '63. Can I Get a Witness? Very uplifting, that piano, and Keith, you can hear, "Can I get a witness?" Like, definitely great. Classic early Motown song. I mean, definitely for sure. Just has that soulful and just has like that mix of a great Motown song. Definitely for sure. Marvin's was very slow, but Rolling Stones was upbeat and fantastic. I love it. The next track is You Can Make It If You Try. Very slow. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Time's on My Side. And I think they were kind of influenced with this song to make Time is on My Side. It was a song done by Ted Jarrett. Love the organ. Great. Very slow and, almost has like a balladry feel to it a little bit. Charlie's drums are great. Definitely shines really well. And this was actually a hit for Gene Allison back in 1958. It was at number 36, 37. Apparently it went pretty long on the charts, I believe, during that time. Definitely great. Yeah, it's like a moderate song for them. And the last track, we got Walking the Dog. If you don't know how to do it, I'll show you how to walk the dog. I think that was done by Brian. Great song. This is a big hit for Rufus Thomas. This was placed on the Billboard chart at number 10 back in very late 1963. Again, the clapping is right there, the guitar sliding. Like I said, I love the finger whistling. I'm pretty sure that was done by Brian. And that blustering solo done by Keith. I mean, just fantastic. Just has like that Rolling Stones, just firing at all cylinders. And yeah, I think that's. Oh yeah, and Little by Little, forgot to mention there's a song done by Jimmy Reed called "Shame, Shame, Shame," and I think it has like that similarity. And that's it. That is my review of the Rolling Stones debut album. I know I'm 15 minutes here, but this is great though. I mean, I think their second album's definitely going to go well for sure, and the 12 by 5, I believe it was called, but definitely great. The ending track of Walking the Dog is just great, and it just shows the Rolling Stones that they'll get better, like they'll be better, and and then when you get to like December's Children, then okay, like they're definitely, you definitely hear the the maturity of their songwriting, if you will. And that's it, folks. That's my review of the Rolling Stones' debut album. Their second, I believe, was 12 by 5. Coming up shortly. All right, folks. Take care. Bye bye.